I drove for 2 hours in icy sleet to catch my parents off guard on Christmas Eve. My sister cracked the door just enough and muttered, "We're sticking to core family tonight." I turned around and left. Heading back, I fired up my computer and shut down every account linked to my name. By morning, the group chat was exploding. I hadn't mentioned my plans to anyone. I wanted it to be a shock. For once, I aimed to be the one arriving with something heartfelt. Not costly, not showy, just proof that I remembered them. I began organizing in early December. I even jotted a small list in my phone's notes. For Mom, I chose a cozy emerald scarf from a tiny web store, her top shade. For Dad, a fresh steel thermos with a secure cap since his old one for jobs kept spilling into his bag. For Haley's children, I selected a Dino sweatshirt and a simple puzzle kit that glows upon finishing. I know their interests. I notice details. For Haley's spouse, I included knit mittens and a jar of hot sauce from a festive fair. It boasted extreme heat with a blazing skull label. Figured he'd boast about trying it. The presents weren't pricey, but I invested effort in each. I packaged them myself, using plain craft paper and twine instead of bows. I sketched tiny stars on the labels. I even pinned brief messages for every item, aiming to make them intimate. My flatmate assisted in loading the sacks into my car that Christmas Eve morning. She sensed my thrill even if I downplayed it. I mentioned I'd likely return the next day, or perhaps the 26th, based on events. The trip was meant to take 2 hours. It stretched to almost 3.5. Sleet kicked in right after entering Pennsylvania. My wipers struggled against the buildup, and I saw at least 2 vehicles off the road. I paused once for fuel and a hot drink, lingered in the car 5 minutes before continuing. The entire route, I pictured their expressions upon spotting me. I skipped home the prior year and the one before. This round, I intended to prove I still mattered, that I still made an effort. When I finally reached their block, homes shimmered with fairy lights and garlands. Snow piled gently along the paths. It resembled a holiday card. I kept the sacks in the vehicle briefly and approached the porch with only my handbag. I pressed the bell. I heard the television inside, laughter, the rustle of gift wrap. For a moment, it all seemed ordinary. I was grinning already. Then the door parted slightly. Haley was there. She eyed me like I was the intruder, like I'd disrupted something precious. "We're sticking to core family tonight." Initially, I didn't grasp her point. I peered beyond her, spotted my parents on the sofa, chuckling. Dad held a dish of eats. Mom sipped from a cup I'd mailed her last holiday. I questioned what she meant. She echoed it softer. Not mad, just brushing off, like I was a local dropping a pamphlet. In the back, nobody registered me. Nobody glanced toward the entrance. It never crossed their minds that perhaps I'd traveled hours in a blizzard to join. That maybe I craved belonging once more. I spun, returned to the car. My fingers trembled grabbing the sacks. I drove away, stopped in a pharmacy lot, and lingered there ages. Pondered options. Considered placing the presents on their step. Thought of messaging someone to fetch them at minimum. Then I stowed the sacks in the back and headed home. Snow persisted as I arrived at my building. I kept my jacket on, went directly to my laptop, and began terminating access. Every joint account, video platforms, shopping lists, the Prime membership I'd covered for everyone. I withdrew Wi-Fi privileges Haley used at work. I canceled their spot in my bulk store membership. I didn't declare it. No texts or alerts. I simply severed ties. By dawn, my device vibrated endlessly. Haley inquired where I'd vanished. Mom fired off messages wondering if I was fine and if I'd still arrive. Dad sent a social media emoji of a sour feline with a placard reading, "Holidays, huh?" They were clueless. They figured I was pouting, overreacting, making a mountain of it. They didn't realize this marked the start of an irreversible shift. And they certainly weren't prepared for my follow-up. Christmas dawn was utterly still. I rose around 7 and lay gazing at the roof, hearing zilch. No tear of paper, no scent of spiced buns, no patter of youngsters sneaking below. Just hush and sporadic alerts from my screen I ignored. I brewed one mug of Joe, perched by the glass, observing flakes fall. I'd skipped heat overnight, so the place remained chilly. I sort of preferred it. Suited the mood. The gift sacks sat by the table, partly draped with a worn quilt. I mulled donating them to the entrance area, letting strangers claim them. Perhaps a resident, perhaps unknown, perhaps none. By 10, my phone rang 7+ times. 2 voice messages from Mom, 1 from Dad. Then more exchanges. I skipped checking. Just huddled on the sofa, quilt over shoulders, ignoring the screen, looping the same sentimental film since midnight. But near noon, a change. One final voice note. Unsure why I played it. Perhaps Mom's voice breaking as she apologized, saying she hated ending the day thus, announcing their drive over. At 1:07, a rap at the door. I peeked and froze momentarily. My folks, sans Haley, only them. I unlocked, said nothing. They appeared weary, beyond the journey. Mom gripped a store bag with foil-wrapped item. Dad clutched a cheap flowering plant and a chilled dessert. Neither knew openings. We aim to share the day with you, even in this setup. I admitted them. They entered my space cautiously, like revisiting a long-lost acquaintance's domain. They perched on sofa edges, scanning details they'd overlooked. Wall pictures, the small artificial tree in the nook I left dark. Mom launched into standard defenses. Haley never informed us. We were unaware. You realize we'd have. He faded often, fidgeting her sleeve. Dad added support sporadically, avoiding my gaze till later. I stayed mostly mute, limbs folded, awaiting their depth. Soon Mom requested oven use for the dish. I assented. Dad flicked the set to silent. That became our holiday. Trio in a space thick with unspoken, viewing muted flick, feigning festivity. Eventually I rose, fetched the sacks from beneath the cover in the kitchen, set them before them wordlessly. They unwrapped gradually. The wrap, the flask, the personal scripts. They perused each, puzzled then moved. Mom missed it at hers. Dad stayed quiet, cradling the flask like a novelty. You needn't have. I remained silent. The hours dragged warily, like tiptoeing around triggers. Yet as light waned, ease grew. Mom suggested warm drinks. Dad quipped about a building resident's elevator snores. It neared usual, but staged. Then the pivot. Queries on the services arose. Haley mentioned issues. The streaming, the shopping. Glitch? Dad asked lightly. I held steady. No glitch. They halted, then discussed the tough year. Haley's two little ones needing aid. Their ignorance of my isolation and joint repair. That's when it dawned. Their visit wasn't purely holiday. It was reclaiming their pillar. I spoke little, but noted I'd consider restoring norms. Perhaps. They seemed eased, triumphant. Mom embraced firmly before spare room rest. Dad sought extra cover, opting for sofa. I retreated to my quarters, closed off. First time that day, I allowed hope that I'd acted wisely, that improvement came via patience, quiet, work. That affection could be regained thus. But I ought to have known. December 26th loomed, and that day shattered anew. They slipped out like thieves. I caught no sound, just faint board squeak by the entry and soft latch. No bedside memo. No tap. No gratitude for hosting. Emerging near 9, the front seemed pristine as if unoccupied. Neat quilt on sofa. Partial wine on counter. Store plant wilting on sill. Footwear absent. Dessert pan missing. Mugs cleaned and inverted by sink. A mute gesture. But a counter note existed. Gratitude for shared Christmas. Love you. Onward together, Mom and Dad. That line once more, onward. Always implying sweep issues, dodge accountability, reboot as intact. I left the paper. Brewed coffee, sat sofa rim, set off. No noise, no glow, just appliance hum and echoes of their feigned repair. Unsure duration, but 10:14 shifted all. Device hummed. Haley. Brief, breezy, like chatting a confidant. MO, Stacy bought it hook line. LOL, Oscar worthy. She's so F asterisk 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 ing gullible then erased. But I glimpsed. Captured screen prior to comprehension. Her handle, image, text. Crystal. Missent, likely to Mom. Or spouse. Or ally. But to me. I gawked, pulse racing, unmoving. Their trip was theater. Embraces, unwraps, timed remorse, misses. Scripted, me the fooled spectator applauding. Phone Mom. Answered swift. Tone strained, anticipating. No yells. No queries. Recited Haley's words deliberately, ensuring absorption. Silence. Then spin. Haley misspoke. Prank. Stress relief post my opening, misphrased. Fake worry voice for control. I interrupted. Declared finality. No funds, access, backing. She probed meaning. Said self-discover as I had. Each exclusion or convenience use, she panicked. Offered return, face talk. One error not undoing progress. Even cookies as bait. I refused repeats. Ended call, blocked her. Then Haley. Contacts, profiles erased. Continued. Yanked photo cloud access I'd funded. Calendar coordination gone. Delivery app family login canceled. That night, Dad emailed. Rare. Blank subject. One line. You can't mean it. Discuss. No response, as I did. No doubts on severity. No bigger person math. Allowed conclusion. Sat in calm, no longer awaiting their mend. They never intended. December 27th past mute. No rings, pursuits, from mom, dad. Haley vanished. Chat dormant. Like evasion, awaiting my thaw for seamless return. But no cooling. I purged their traces. Boxed used stemware, discarded wilted plant, trashed reread note. Scoured surface, ignited prior candle gift, in vain link. Then December 28th, Aunt Valerie rang. Rare contact. Mom's senior sib, flawless gatherings, cards with peace vibes. Over years silent. Her name froze me 10 seconds pre-answer. Skipped greeting. Demanded Christmas chaos explanation. I sparse initially, heard her. Mom broadcast to kin 2 eves prior. My self-isolation, holiday emotional woes. Portrayed me unstable, their inclusion efforts spurned. But screenshot countered. I detailed all. Journey, sleet. Haley's slit door, staged visit. Faux warmth, damning text. Read deliberately. Valerie paused. Requested forward. Complied. Exhaled. Unshocked. Haley long entitled, scheming, shielded. Thank truth, said she'd manage. Expected minor mediation. But afternoon escalated. Cousin Tyler texted, saw Haley's words. Insane. Aunt Lynn, revolted. Bought your drama claim. Uncle Dave follow request, decade silent. Gradually, outreach. Not sympathy, acknowledgement. Years pattern visible. Evening, Haley socials blank. Profiles deleted. Pinterest cleared. Mom alternate number rang. Ignored. 29th, mail letter. No cinder, dad script. Lined page. Opposed Haley's words, but can endure slips. Overblown. Pardon binds. Hope pre-New Year rethink. Folded, drawer back. No reply. Yet. 30th, alerts ceased. Kin screenshot wave ebbed, but hush shifted. Not guilty chill. Deserved. New Year's Eve stayed in. Solo meal. Basic pasta, baked veggies. Wine pour, candle, soft tunes. Midnight city mute. No blasts. Cheers, just hall melody faint, self-reflection. Not joy. Not grief, just pure. First, witness collapse sans repair rush. Let consume. Quiet surpassed expectations. Early New Year weeks trickled calmly. No contacts. Mails, kin post likes. Braced initially. Anticipated mom spectacle. Letter drop in. Haley group guilt. Dad reason plea. None. Worse almost. Strung silence. Outweight tantrum. But no rage. Finished. Cleared aftermath. Laptop pics. Safekeepers. Trash rest. Calendar births gone. Addresses cleared. New secure logins. Solo streams. Like erasing imprints. January 3rd. Mom voicemail. Post Haley silence first. Composed like service rep. Space granted, but open to visits. No push, just desire. Like favor. Then realization. Missed route. Saw one text, cruel slip. Ignored prior. Snubbed invites. Murmurs, my giver quiet role consensus. No answer. January 5th, Valerie text. Haley private spins. Context joke, my distortion for villainy. Perpetual sensitive. Not mad. Admired persistence. Victim flip, me emotional burden. Night, cousin screenshot Haley's post. Filtered tree pic with young ones. Caption on pardon, festive mix-ups, hurt publicizing privates. Nameless, hinting serene, injured mom peacemaker. Stared long, not pain, but desperation clarity. Erased group chat permanently. Not hidden, deleted. Exited shared photo drive. Remove card from household shopping. Canceled delivery, perks, unpaid. Closed portals quietly. January 10th, birthday. No wishes, cards, tardy rings, childhood tag posts. Even dad's usual scramble absent. Waited despite denial, habit checks, curiosity. Silence, solidified end. Not explosive, terminal. Evening, best friends visited. Takeout Asian, wine, trash flick. Off-key birthday song. Laugh till 2. Bed sans void. Missed hoped versions, not realities. Gap painless first. Made sense. Mid-January, settled. Or seemed. Routine calm unbothersome. Work, proper meals, sound sleep. Evening strolls. No audio, just crisp air, step echoes. Then sudden, cousin Liz message. Heard all. You correct. Stared. Not tight. Liked, neutral. Her statement weighed. More followed. Cousin. Thought distant you. Unknown load. Aunt Lynn direct. How blind. Sorry. Uncle Dave actual call. Voicemail. Haley excused long. Admitted pattern. Gradually, awakening. Not lone incident. Erosion habituated. Haley manipulated broadly. Sanitized narratives. Parents enabled. No buried shame. Gradual decay normalized. Valerie seized Haley contact. Fed up deflections, deceits, victim plays. No specifics, lines firm. Mom final text. Stacy, hope content. Alienated cousins from sister. What achieved? No reply, as misunderstood. Not recruitment. Shared screenshot soul Valerie. No public. Ceased shielding. Truth self-revealed. Hadn't lost kin. Quit faking need for that variant. Haley mute. No remorse. Clarification. Ownership. Faded chats. Group snaps. Re-emerged superficial. Child pics. Cooks. Workouts. Engagement dwindled. New year passed. Another gradual split kin. Last January weekend. Cafe with Liz. 2 years unseen. Her coffee. Said awaited call out. Asked untouched. How long burdened pre-break. Laughed. Ages. No tidy close. No showdown. Intervention. Just one side hush. Other lucidity. Sufficient. Not desired holiday. Not imagined kin. But gained superior. Gained liberty.